When you take a closer look at this particular flyer, you can clearly see that it's just a plain white and just a simple background. But this one, you can see that the designer added some texture in there. But this one right here is completely different from these two because it contains some elements in the background, some gradients in the background, some images as well. But why should you go for this and not for that? And what is the meaning of all these? By the end of this video, you understand the meaning of all these. Then you'll be able to know which one to choose for your project. So without any further ado, let's get started. Church flyers can only have two types of backgrounds. So it will be either plain or solid backgrounds. So with a plain background, it's mostly just one color, and sometimes they will add some texture in there to add some details to the flyer. Some of you may be thinking that since plain backgrounds are simply white, or let's say are simply one color, that it means it will be very simple to apply to your designs. But mind you, it is not always the case. This is the reason why I'm saying that. Look at this one for instance. Aside from the plain background that he used, you can see that he used some kind of text manipulations and also some colors, some advanced color usage and some other things that will make the design more detailed, not just a plain design. So when you want to use a plain background for your church flyer designs, the design itself should not be plain. So with this particular flyer over here, you can clearly see that the background was plain though, but look at how the images and then the elements were added. You can see he used some fire elements to pass through the images. That one is portraying the theme, that's the fresh fire night, and he also used some color gradient to add some details to the design. So all these things come together to make the design very nice and then top notch. So as I said earlier, this has some texture in the background. But if you want to learn how to create this kind of texture for your church flyer designs, I already made a video on that, so I'll leave the link in the description, or you can click on this card here to access that video. And with this one too, you can clearly see that the background is plain white. That is, there's no complexity in the background. But when you zoom in, you can see that there is this globe-like texture in the background. And it is not just there, because the name of the program is Global Conference 2024 edition. So the globe-like texture in the background is trying to portray the name. It's trying to portray the name of the program, that is Global Conference. So there are meanings into things that you apply to your design. So make sure that you don't just take anything and then you put it on your flyer or you put it in your design. So with this one right here, you can see the globe-like texture in the background, and you see how he edited the text and all that, and the color gradients and everything. You see, when you want to go for a plain background, your design should not be plain. There should be some kind of text manipulations, image manipulations, and then color gradients on it. So these are the things that you need to take note of when you are designing for, or let's say when you are using a plain background for your design. So with this one right here, you can see that, oh, the background is just simple and there's nothing in there. But take a closer look at the elegant space. You can see that there's some icons around it, there's some elements around it, there's some other things around it, and the color behind the people are advanced color combinations. That is, you can't just combine these colors and it will work. But see, he tried to make sure that these colors work perfectly for the background. So with plain backgrounds, it's just your color usage, your gradient usage, your element usage, and then some other element that you add to the design, not to make it more beautiful. But for solid backgrounds, it's not just a simple color, or let's say just one color, as you have talked about in the plain background. For solid backgrounds, it comprises of gradients, elements, images, and a whole lot of things in the background. So all these elements that I've mentioned comes together and make the background solid. But the designers do not just choose these elements just anyhow. They go with the ones that portray the meaning of the flyer, or let's say the theme of the flyer. So with this one right here, you can see that the mandate, and the mandate in the background, you can see the two tablet stones that God gave to Moses at that time to give to the Israelites, and that one contains the 10 commandments. So those are instructions for them to guide their ways and all that. And then the designer also retyped the image a bit to match the background. So he made sure that the background and the images are all having the same color grade. And this one is another banger. You can see that the theme is the roar. And then look at the background. There are lions roaring in the background, trying to portray the theme of the flyer. He added the lions behind, or let's say he added the lions in the background to portray the theme of the flyer. And then how he retouched the images so that it is going to blend exactly like the background and all that. So all these things comes together to make the flyer top notch and then detailed. And not forgetting this one right here, you can see that the name of the program is Ibadan Worship Encounter, and it's all about praises and worship. And the background also portrays someone who is worshiping and all. And the images they use for the design too, they make sure that it blends exactly with the background. So basically, when you want to go for a solid background, the thing that you need to focus on is that the element or the images that you're going to use portrays the theme or the name of the background. And then you have to make sure that you retouch the images so that they suit the background that you are designing. And then you have to make sure that all these elements that I've mentioned blends very well with the background, so that it's not going to be like everything is standing on its own on the flyer. So look at this one for instance. We can see that the image has been retouched to suit the background perfectly. So in the coming days, I'll upload a tutorial on how to retouch your images to suit the background, just like this one. So all that you have to do is to click on the subscribe button and then turn on the notification so that whenever I upload that video, you'll be the first person to be notified. You can also share my videos to your friends and your loved ones who may find my videos useful. Thank you for doing that. And not forgetting this one too. You can see there is Focus Thursday. Yeah, that's the name of the flyer. But the theme is the new man, make room for the Holy Spirit. So I made the background look like there is an entry of the Holy Spirit in a room. That is trying to portray the theme of the flyer. That is the new man making room for the Holy Spirit. So the background is not just there, but it's trying to portray the theme of the flyer. These are some of the things that you need to take note of. Now, as an brand, to use a solid background or let's say a plain background, that one, it depends on you. It depends on the program that you are designing for. It depends on the style that you want to portray. It depends on the vibe that you want to communicate to your audience, and also depends on your clients. You see, recently one subscriber commented on one of my videos and he was like, he did a design for a client. That's a church flyer design. And then the client was like, the flyer doesn't look like a church flyer. It looks like a seminar or like a business meeting flyer, and that he should start all over again. Wow, situations like this may not have happened if you had watched this video I made recently about how you can meet your client expectations and then how clients cannot reject your designs and all that. You can click on this card here to check it out, or I will leave the video link in the description. Now, some of the designs I use in this video are not mine, so I'll reference the owners in the description and I'll give their handles in there so that you can check out the other designs. Now, if you want to master how to create a solid background for your church flyer designs like this one that I've mentioned in this video, then this free masterclass right here is for you. So check it out to learn more. Until next time, quench not your creativity. Peace.